Hi, readers. It's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. And welcome to what I think is the start of something that will be quite fun and interesting and a learning experience for us. So, recently, some things came together all at once in a way. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Just these little sort of noticings about what's coming into your head and what's in front of you and what's happening that then come together and you have an idea, and an idea forms into hopefully a project. So for me, this was a series of wonderful events. First off, my son, who works at a shipyard, had recently shared with us the completion of a new ship that is dedicated to Robert Ballard. Okay, hold that thought for just a moment. Although I was just so excited about this, I couldn't be there that day, but they haven't launched it yet. It hasn't gone out to sea yet, so it's possible that I could go and watch it as well. But it does take like an entire day for this giant ship to be unmoored, if you will. The next thing that happened was I came into the living room one day and my partner Lisa was watching a documentary, and I said, I feel like I know that guy directed a film called Titanic. And she said, yes, indeed. And he's talking about the ship and he's talking about his experience and all kinds of things like that. And the next thing I knew, I was on YouTube and somebody was talking about creating a personal curriculum and reading about something that they were interested in, or any kind of a project that you wanted to do, that you wanted to learn from. Three things. Robert Ballard discovered the wreckage of the Titanic. Also, James Cameron not only produced the movie Titanic, but he also has now done a documentary about the Titanic and all things that he thought were interesting on the National Geographic Channel. And then three, the personal curriculum came up, and I thought, what a wonderful thing that would be. So I mentioned it while we were watching the James Cameron documentary, and I said, you want to do like a couples curriculum? And she said, sure. So here we go. We are going to embark upon a personal curriculum for couples, I guess. If one of us tends to back out, that's also okay. If we don't complete everything that we're thinking we could do, that's also okay. But let's talk about what we probably could do. For one, I could watch that documentary, but we could both watch a number of documentaries about the Titanic. There's no shortage of them, and they're very entertaining in some ways, but also very dark and deep. So we might need to kind of pause this here and there. So I have no idea how long this is going to take, because it's very tricky stuff, right? The next thing I did, though, was to order this, A Night to Remember by Walter Lord, which I shared with you in my books that I hauled this last month. This was why I said to you, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do about this, but this is one of the oldest books, but it is an account of the last days of the Titanic. It's not long. It's, I've heard, very well done and very propulsive, and also gives you a kind of a sense of what might have really happened, although there's a lot of disparities. There's a lot of time past that. There weren't the same kinds of technologies that we have now, obviously. So this one might be a little dated compared to some of the things that have happened since, including Robert Ballard finding the remains and those kinds of things. However, this one really is, to me, quite something. I do wish I had been at that event that day to be able to meet Robert Ballard, but alas, I was not. But one day, you never know, I might, especially if he comes back for the launch of the ship. So that would be fun, and that would be maybe a part of our couples curriculum for sure. There are a number of books about the Titanic, so we could read so many of them. We could watch so many documentaries about the Titanic. We could rewatch the original film that James Cameron produced, which of course is iconic in its own way and probably a little bit cringy now because it's been out a long time ago. But I don't think any of us who've seen it will ever forget that scene where they are standing at the bow of the ship and they are, just completely free and happy. And then, of course, things start to get a little bit dicey. I also, in that documentary there that I was not quite watching, there was a reenactment of the scene where they are holding on in the ice water, and the goal was to see if they would have lived, if things had happened differently. I'm not going to spoil that, but that is something I want to rewatch because, again, I was kind of in and out of the room that day. I wasn't paying that much attention, but it was fascinating to me that they were kind of looking at the science of this and whether or not something else could have happened, that would have changed the outcomes. Fascinates me. The other possible thing that we could do as a result of creating this curriculum experience with each other is that there is a show of the Titanic that comes around, and it's a physical, it has all the documents, it has lots of displays, it has, I think, narrators there as well. It's one of those traveling informational shows, much like the King Tut's tomb when it was around, going back and forth and round. The Harry Potter, I think, events are going here and there in different parts of the United States, although that's not a true human story. But I do think that there's one that might be coming near us or near enough to us that we could go and see that. I know it's hard to get tickets for those, and it's a bit crowded in certain places, but that would be a really fun thing. So for that reason, I'm not sure that we're going to put an end date on this curriculum. I think we're going to just do it until we feel like we've done it. And we could do a certain part of it and then later go on and add something else to it. But I don't know if this is something we will repeat since we've never really done it, although we have explored different subjects and we've read different books that are, the same. We both read them and we talk about them, although my partner doesn't talk about books a whole lot, but nonfiction more than fiction, just because it isn't her thing. She doesn't doesn't need to talk about it. But I do obviously love to talk about books, and so I might be talking about some of this learning as we go along as well. Now, again, a personal curriculum or a couple's curriculum is whatever you want to make it, and it is as complex or as easy as you feel like you want to do. I think that this will be fairly easy. I don't think that we're going to have a lot of high expectations or demands on ourselves to complete certain things, except for probably this book and some documentaries, which again are easy for us to complete. I think that perhaps we will do some research online about some things that maybe we didn't know about, maybe about some specific people. We could expand this into reading another book about a similar kind of situation, which we both have and have both wanted to get to. This is Thunderstruck. There's another one also about a hurricane, which I've avoided for a long time. But this one is a ripping yarn of murder and invention, it says, by Erik Larson, which we really do enjoy. And when I was picking this up today off of my shelves, which this is again about another ship and another issue, not the Titanic at all, but when I was looking at this and I opened it up, here's the quote I found. Clara asked, "How's Belle?" "Oh, she's all right. Give her my love." "Yes," Crippen said, "I will." When he returned to Hilldrop Crescent at 7:30 that evening, he found the house empty, save for the cats, the canaries, and the bull terrier. Belle had gone. The main question that now occupied him, he said, was how to avoid the scandal that would arise if the true reason for Belle's departure ever got out. You can imagine that that made me think, oh, wow, I really love this. If you've never read anything by Erik Larson, he writes nonfiction about major events, including wars and serial killers, and in this case, a shipwreck of some sort, and hurricanes. He loves to talk about disasters of some sort and what happened. And he's also very good at writing nonfiction in a way that feels like you're reading fiction. For the most part, there are moments when you realize that you're reading nonfiction. But honest to goodness, he really makes these very, very enlightening. So I've read The Devil in the White City. And I have read another one as well, but don't ask me what it is because it's not in the back here. But I'd also like to read Isaac's Storm, which is the one about a hurricane, the deadliest hurricane in history, it says. And then In the Garden of the Beast is another one that we have. We have, I think, all of them, maybe save for one. And I don't have Isaac Storm physically. I have it in my Kindle or Nook somewhere. So that's a possibility for another bout or round of reading books about disasters if we should take that sort of track for the rest of the year. But I doubt that we will do that. We'll probably pick something else. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be fun. It'll be a little bit of an experiment to see if it's something that we can hold on to and focus on consistently until we feel like we've done all that we want to do. And so, yeah, I wonder if you are doing a personal curriculum or a couples curriculum as well. If this is something you've been seeing, it's trending very highly on BookTube and YouTube. It's trending very highly amongst conversations that I'm having with other people on Discord and people who are in this space, which I think it's probably something that's happening outside this space as well. But BookTube, YouTube can create a movement around certain things, right? And I think that that's absolutely what's happened with this. There are some videos that I've heard about recently that kind of explain this, so I'll try to post those in the comments or in the description box below. But if you have any information about them, do feel free to share that as well, because I'm sure people would enjoy hearing about them in addition to some of the ones that maybe they've already heard about, or maybe this is brand new to you and so you'd like to see kind of what the trends are, right? Or maybe not, maybe what the trends aren't, so you can pick something very unique. It did not stop us from kind of moving forward into this vein because of those three things kind of happening at the same time. So maybe you'll notice what's kind of bubbling up around you, what you're hearing about a lot. I do think that sometimes when we have a spark of a thought, other things come in to either confirm that that thought is something we need to hold on to, or maybe not my thing. So this may not be your thing, and that's really, really okay. But if you are doing one, I can't wait to hear what it is. Krista did some sprints last night that I was watching, and she was talking about creating one as well, which would be really, really fun to see what she ends up with. A couple of other people I know have already created one. A lot of them are analog, so ours will not be analog because we are going to be watching some content on a screen. But I do think that you can make it, again, whatever you would like. So I hope this was interesting to you today. And if you've read any of these books, or you've studied the Titanic, or you've been to that exhibit, do let us know, because that sounds like a really fun thing to do, except, again, a really dark thing to do as well. And we'll try our best to get through Titanic again. As I recall, that movie was incredibly long and sad, and I would probably watch it again. So thanks for watching today. Thanks for your support. If you're new to this channel, I would love it if you would subscribe if this looks like something you're interested in. If you don't want to leave a comment, you can just hit the like button, which is always helpful. But if you do want to leave a comment, I would be thrilled to see anything you want to share about this particular subject, including if you'd like to just leave an emoji. You can choose. There's probably a hurricane emoji. I have no idea. I've never used it, so perhaps there's not. But there might also be, I'm certain that there's a ship or a boat or something like that. So put in the comments below whatever you would like me to see or know about you and your reading and your relationship to personal or couples curriculums. And as always, happy reading and learning. Bye.